Hey everyone, welcome to a brief overview and a first look at something very special that I've been waiting on for a long time now. And it's something I'm obviously very excited about because it's been a while since I've picked up the camera and started filming as soon as something arrives. And somebody asked me the other day, in his words, what is it that really gets your nerd on? You know, what is it that gets me excited more than anything else? And it's when somebody has the courage to do something even just a little bit different, because it ends up leading the market, setting trends and changing things. And that's what's really the most exciting about this industry. But anyway, let's get this box open and take a look at what's inside. So the packaging is quite impressive, which, you know, is kind of important. I mean, it's important to create an image for a product, and you know, the image that you get of this straight away is that it's high end, it's something special. And I mean, all black packaging with white branding, very subtle and understated, and also extremely well protected. There was an outer box around this. We have the handle on top, this little cutout here with the DB4 logo. So I haven't even said what this is yet, but this is actually the Streacom DB4. Now, I definitely had high expectations for this case after everything that I've seen of it and heard about it. And the very first time I saw it, I thought I just have to lay hands on that and take a look at that at some point, because it is just such a beautiful, you know, simple art piece. Something that I would absolutely be privileged to build into. And yes, I do have that opportunity now. I am going to be building into this. When I lifted this thing for the first time, well, the first thing I noticed when I touched it was the finish. This beautiful sandblasted and anodized finish just has that smooth feel to it, no fingerprints. Such a beautiful finish, but it is so heavy and solid. I mean, it feels like you could drop this thing from a meter off the ground and basically nothing would happen to it. Because, I mean, take a look at the thickness of this extruded alloy. And what an amazing idea for manufacturing, using aluminium extrusion like this, because, you know, this comes in long pieces and then it's all cut up. So it's actually a very, you know, simple way of doing it, but it's really not something that we've seen before. And what it creates is a heatsink design, and that is very important for this case, as you will see later on when we get to the insides. God, it is really amazing. I haven't been this excited about anything in quite some time. Have a look at those feet. But even the manual, I mean, have a look at how well done this is. They have spent a lot of time and effort putting this together. So yeah, I'm very impressed. So far it's exceeding my expectations. But yeah, the main thing is going to be building into it. I mean, it's a very simple design, so really building into it, there's kind of nothing to it. But I'm not planning on just doing a standard build into this thing. So now comes the really exciting part. Let's take a look inside. I've loosened the bolts for the top panel, and this is actually spring loaded. As soon as you loosen these bolts, it pops the panel up so that you don't have to kind of try to reach underneath it with your fingernails, which when I saw this, I was wondering about that. I thought that would be really annoying to remove. Now this actually looks like sandblasted aluminium like the rest of the case, but when you take a look at the other side, you realize that it is just black acrylic and that it's been nicely sandblasted, frosted very evenly, very beautiful finish on this side. Now this should have been aluminium in my opinion. There's no reason it wouldn't have added much extra cost at all compared to what they have done here already, and it just would have been a nice little way of topping it off, although it would also be nice if the top was clear acrylic so that you could see inside, and that would also make for some really cool possibilities. So I think that they should release some add-ons for this case. They should release an aluminium version of this maybe, with some ventilation cut into it, and then also a clear version. But captive screws everywhere, just every little afterthought, everything has been considered. You can see how this is spring loaded. I'm pushing it down crooked, that's why it's jamming. But when the panel goes on, it'll push it down flat, so you won't have that problem. But take a look at the insides here. This has just been so well engineered and designed. A lot of thought has gone into this. I mean, everywhere you look, you can see just small intricacies. So the first thing I've noticed about this, I haven't looked at the manual, I have no idea how any of this works, but we have these thumb screws here, and you undo these, they're like, they're holding the case. They go into a hole, which is not threaded. It's a centering device. So there's 4 of those. I've undone those. And I kind of thought, how cool would it be if the entire cord just slid straight out? That would just make things so easy. Well, the motherboard tray does. So it's an easily removable motherboard tray, which is cool. But yeah, it would have been amazing if the entire core had slid out. I mean, just look at that motherboard tray. All of the slots cut into it. That's a complex little panel. We have folds, we have thread inserts, all of these cuts. This is a really amazing case. Now, the way this comes apart is instead of the core sliding out, which is what I would have done and would love to see, but this is still cool. The side panels come off by lifting up. It's a little bit difficult, but once you get the hang of it, I'm sure it'll be a lot easier. So I'm just trying to figure out how this actually detaches, but okay, so it comes out on an angle. There we go. So you can see, wow, that is one big piece of alloy and very heavy. But these are the centering devices that hold it in position, ventilation on either side. Wow, that is just such a nice piece of alloy. So I think all sides come off in the same way by the looks. Yep. Wow. Oh yeah, see now I've got the hang of it. It's very easy. Wow, look at that. That is so simple. Actually, now that I see how quick and easy they are to remove, I was talking about having the core come out on its own, but it's kind of nice to have the case feet on the core part. It's easier to then build into it. This is really the main part of the case, the structure, the chassis, and the extrusion is just the outer panels. So I love this design. This is amazing. So you can see we have drive bays, positions for hard drives and SSDs. We have 2 expansion slots, and the motherboard sits in there vertically. There's a lot you could do to this with some mods. That's what I actually intend to do with this. I have some ideas for water cooling, which in a case this small would be really amazing, but Anyway, let's take a bit more of a look around. So this case can fit up to 12 2.5 inch drives or 5 3.5 inch. And you can even see on the motherboard tray, you can actually fit a 3.5 inch or a couple of 2.5 inch drives there. So USB 3, a couple of those. Front panel connections, so that must be the power button under there somewhere. Yeah, there it is there, beautiful hidden power button. I love that idea. That's something I've been wanting to do for ages, have a power button hidden in a place where only the owner or somebody who really understands and knows about the case knows where it is. But just look at all this machining. You know, this is the centering area and rail for the side panels. And just look at how thick all of this is. This is like 6mm alloy, this chassis. It's absolutely stunning. This bottom piece here looks like 4mm. These bent pieces here, 4 or 6mm. No, they're actually 6mm. So very, very heavy, difficult to bend. This is absolutely amazing. Very nice rubber pads all the way along the bottom. And there's the 2 USB 3 and a Kensington lock. And then the 2 PCI, expansion slots there. Lots of ventilation on the bottom. Power port there. So, you know, such a beautiful, simple design and just so well built. But anyway, that's a quick overview and first look at the Streacom DB4. There is going to be a proper review for this case soon, and I'm also going to do a build into this case because I need to build a new HTPC because mine is currently dead and I've been needing to build a new one for a very long time. So that is something that I'm really looking forward to. There's going to be a build log. And yeah, this is the CPU cooler that comes with the case and is integral. It's a part of the case because this case is really specifically designed for passive cooling. It's the reason for the extrusion on the outsides. But look at this, the machining on this CPU cooler. We have a huge thermal pad here for attachment to the extrusion on the outside of the case. Screws straight onto the case and then the heat pipes fit into it. And I mean, just so many accessories, it's amazing. I'm not even sure what this is, but this is another part of the cooler here. Block of copper. And yeah, all of the necessary fasteners, thermal paste. I cannot wait to build into this thing and, you know, see what I can come up with for modding. Actually, I was just starting to think about it, and I think if we laid the motherboard flat, horizontal, because I don't need a whole lot of drives. So, you know, a lot of the space in here is for drives. So if I forget about that and just have, you know, one big hard drive and then an M.2, well, you know, you lay the motherboard flat up here somewhere, maybe the graphics card can fit underneath on a ribbon cable, and it may even be possible to fit, no, a 240 wouldn't fit in there, but maybe a 120 or a 140. But, you know, you'd have to put a couple, I guess, maybe one on each side. It would be a difficult mod because of the way that this is designed, the chassis, the thick alloy, and, you know, you'd be constantly worrying about making a mistake, doing something you regret, because it's such a beautiful case and really not something I'd like to change, actually. It is so well designed that I'm not even sure if I'll end up modifying it, but we'll see. But anyway, thanks for watching, and remember that none of this would be possible without our patrons.